Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, and it's Monday Musings. Yes, it is precious. We are back with Monday Musings, and we are awake and miserable because guess what it is? It is daylight savings time, which nobody apparently likes, including me. But on the other hand, I'm happy to be here with you so we can suffer together as we try to let our bodies adjust. I saw some people on X. I guess I should have known better. I happened to be on Raymond Arroyo's account looking up updates on the Pope, and of course, this pops up. This is maybe why I still just don't like it, because you can't avoid the jerks. And someone was saying something nasty about daylight saving time, like, it's just an hour, get over it. It's like, okay, tell me you don't know anything about the body's rhythm without telling it to me, especially when you're working on getting up in the morning of a certain amount of time. We've all seen it, like when you travel and you have to get up at the butt crack of dawn, like 3 a.m, and you're just wrecked for a few days. It's just the way it is. So nobody likes it. No one wants it. Let's change it. I mean, since they're messing up the whole world anyways, while we're at it, let's mess up daylight saving time. Excuse me. Well, look who it is. Look who it is. We have some people from the future. We have Potato Revan. Why, hello, Potato Revan. Yeah, I remember Ireland having daylight savings time, but I was too little to know if it made a darn bit of difference. Do you all over there in the cross upon hate it as much as we do here in America? Maybe we hate it because we don't see any intrinsic value to it. And I think that when we have natural lighting, rather unnatural lighting, the way we do, it this doesn't seem to change much of anything. Like, it's darker in the morning and lighter in the evening. So that's the other thing. So you can't like go to bed at your normal time. Light, in my humble opinion, changes you up more than darkness. Like when I was in Iceland, visiting Iceland, I was far happier when I went over in the winter than I was in the summer, where there was like zero darkness. I was crazy. Hello, thank you for being here. And it is Star Wars Scran, another man from the future. Yes, we're an extra hour apart for 3 weeks. Oh yeah, like there's nothing else that's gonna mess us up. So for those of us that have to coordinate with people around the world, and then they're not changing, but we are, and we have to try to work it out with each other. It's awful. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought that was deliberate, but if it wasn't deliberate, that's just fine. We're fine here at Miss Smart Muses. Actually, I think I didn't quite get my. Oh, I did get my microphone taken care of. Yes, it's a bit daft. Yeah. I mean, I think I understand the thinking behind it when it started, but this morning when I tried to get up and was all messed up, I'm like, I'm still trying to find the benefit. I like sometimes the whole a little bit more light in the evening, except for the fact that when we're sprinting forward, it's already getting lighter anyways. So we didn't like need that jolt. But it's natural for us to wake up with daylight, natural daylight. So yeah. So we went from waking up to natural daylight to waking up to unnatural daylight in the dark. Yeah, it's daft. Okay, sounds like everyone agrees it sucks. You broke your foot? What the hell? What the hell are you up to? What are you doing? Just on soft tissue damage healing. Oh man, be careful out there, kids. Because I'll tell you what, the world's a crazy place. And last thing we need to do is have our potatoes breaking legs. Oh, well, since I have some people from the future here, and this is, of course, some open musings, let me know. Let me know what you think. What is the planet like over there? Is it falling apart there as well as here? I don't know. It's so hard for me to tell. because you know how you can't trust the media. So I don't know what's going on in your countries. Though YouTube does help. YouTube helps because I am able to get some news. I've gotten some political news over in England about reform. I guess they're really not happy over there with some stuff going on. I don't know. It is frustrating when you support people in like a slow motion train wreck, you see them making mistakes. 99.9% of the time, it's either fear, which is bad, or cockiness, which is bad. I've been putting out a few warnings on our side over here. Don't get cocky. No one likes an A dash dash HOLE. The kind of nasty attitudes that I'm starting to see, that's exactly what led to the results in November. Don't be giving people a reason to go back. Did you see news for St. Patrick's Day in Dublin? They are okay, I'm not entirely sure what that is. It looks like a bit of a typo there. But if you're talking about St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, I'm sure it is something horrendous, blasphemous, and insulting. It is Gorilla Censored Thoughts. Why, hello, hello. What would you like to muse? Snortopupus Kuber. Hello, humans and other critters. Yeah, I've always been kind of cranky about St. Patrick's Day, anyways. that, that sounds like terrible. Everyone's like, "What the hell do you mean? You have a lot of attachment to Ireland." Well, even as a kid, I had a deep sense that this is a religious holiday, and maybe it was the Irish people I was around. It's like a holy day of obligation. It is a holy day of obligation, if I'm correct, in Ireland. This is a man who brought Christianity to Ireland, or rather, preached Christianity. He really solidified it. He was not a drunk. It's the way you see people behave, and it's a celebration of the Catholic faith. It's become something completely different. Well, let me see if Potato Reverend says if he's correcting it. And of course, I think I said hello to Snortopupus Cooper. We love our animals here at. Oh, for fuck's sake, Bennett. Oh, I've tried to give up the F bomb for Lent, and oh gosh, my cat is the one who made me slip up. I try. Snortopupus Cooper. We love our polar bears here at Miss Martin Muses. Oh, they're planning an attack. Doesn't surprise me. I just have so many sad thoughts about what's going on over there. It's basic anthropology. You cannot import more than you export, if you know what I mean. And when you do that with people that have a hatred for you, and from areas of the world where they will act against you. I don't know. I was yapping with someone, they're going to be visiting Ireland, I think next week. And I was like, yeah, be careful of Dublin. I never in my life had to ever say that. Hey, Sorty says, Gorilla Censored Thoughts. That's right to blame the cat. Bet he is a Protestant as well. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, we are not anti-Protestant here at Miss Smart Muses, but I get the joke. I get the joke. I don't think he is a Protestant cat either. I think he is a minion straight from hell. He he's a psychopath, but I kind of like the little guy. But yeah, he gives me a lot of issues here. And now he's trying to give me grief. He keeps trying to push buttons on my computer. And of course, people tell me, why don't you just shut him out of the room? Well, I could. And he's sitting there banging and yelling. So my whole stream would sound like a cat in distress. Hello, it is a Dega Outlaw. Why, good morning. Tell them don't. Well, I think we're all of the knowledge at this point that it is deliberate. It is deliberate. 800 years of oppression from the English, or at least the regime of the English, the UK, could not break the Irish, but a few years of prosperity and selling out was for the sake of prosperity. It is the Nord Poreal Light from Canada. Canada has a new PM now. Oh, they do. Well, that's nice. Now, did it come about because of good reasons? Meaning that the party that Trudeau is a part of was kicked out, or is it because they just got a new leader in their party? I don't know. I'll never forget, and I don't think anyone will forget what happened during the trucker issue. Hey, Commander. Everyone's saying hello. Hello. Oh gosh, you're terrible, potato resin. Dear. Trudeau stepped down. Okay. So the party. It really frustrates me though that because somebody thought he was being funny, I will criticize my own side. Someone thought he was being funny. Trudeau went out more of a hero than he should have been. I'm putting together my Catholic explaining online trolling. But you know who shouldn't troll is our leaders. The world is not X, and I'll stand by that. You have to let your yes be yes and your no be no, because then it makes it difficult for us to support you. There was a situation last week where, the week before rather, we're sitting there really trying to support it and then just finding out it was a joke. You cannot joke on the world stage, and I will stand by that. The latter, the guy is just as bad. That's what I thought. Snorta Poopus Kubert says a new Canadian PM is still suffers from TSD. General elections are still awaiting. Okay. I think Outlaw says Trudy screwed it up so badly he's running from the consequences. Yeah, what a coward. Should have gone down with that hill. But I don't know. I don't know if the Canadians are in any way willing or ready to do what it'll take to solve what their problems are. That's just all there is to it. I just don't know. Because they recently reelected him. Didn't they reelect rather the party after all that stuff that went down? I don't know. Maybe this is going to get a little too depressing because I'm not sure what the answer is. I do not. I just want to warn though our side, do not get cocky. Because a lot of the things that we're seeing now are the very things that gave us the victory. When you win people over, you need to keep them. Oh no, RTE. We don't like RTE here at Miss Martin Muses. RTE said, Radio Televish Aaron said, Leo, can't pronounce his name, was a shining light in the dark, called him the best prime minister Ireland has ever had. Wow. Well, that's RTE, isn't it? Gee, Mac. On the other hand, since the 90s, I have watched from here across the pond and seen when I would visit back and forth, bit by bit, Minnie and Ireland were throwing it all away with both hands. And they didn't realize what they were doing. We were warning. It's like, because we've been there. We know what happens. Oh, it's just on this. It's not going to make a difference on this, but it's a slippery slope. And when I say Ireland, I'm very careful because I know that there were many Irish, and there still are, that are fighting the good fight. But you cannot beat numbers. Like, you have elections, but Dublin elects everything. Mark Carney is a banker. Ugh. The Earth sign homogeny, says Snortopoops Cooper, is ready to take over the world. I am in favor of the polar bears taking over the world. Thank you very much. We'll fix your problems, humans. Thank you. We need the bears. Why, it is Steve Kenobi, all the way from across the pond. Hello there, Teresa. I do hope you're doing quite exceptionally today. Well, I B and C'd a little bit at the beginning of the stream about the stupid daylight savings time, where we go from waking up with the sun and going to sleep with some reasonable denouement in the evening, getting gradually lighter, to a stark waking up in the dark, and boom, daylight sticking in your face and messing up your cicada rhythm. Screw that. Everyone's saying hello. Yeah, good afternoon. I should have said it is the afternoon if you are in the future. So please have a good afternoon. Maybe it's nicer for those that are really up there, like in Norway and stuff, because it's almost always dark or almost always light. So maybe it's not as stark a contrast. Teresa says, Steve Kenobi wrecked Australia in D&D last night. Mark did too. Yeah, we were terrible. We I personally took out Kylie Minogue. It's one of the reasons we could never stream our sessions. The thunder from down under. Potato Ribbon says, well, sorry for my streams of Florida in Disney, so at least she's having fun. Well, yay. Well, there you are. Yeah, Disney World, I think, is mostly okay. It's been a while since I've been there. And I don't know if some of the controversies that have shown up, like a certain fairy godmother, hasn't recurred. Because, like it or not, Disney World gets a lot of their money from international people coming on vacation that will not be as cowed or generous as maybe we in America. Your D&D sessions sound terrifying. They are, and they're very messed up. She's never been, but we'll tell all on the 19th. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm glad people are having fun because the world sucks. Have fun while you can. Yeah. Speaking of the world sucking, we talked on Friday about the Snape news, which was absolutely positively absurd. It's fascinating, though. It's universally being panned. I mean, talk about a unifier, left, right, woke, non-woke. It's just wrong on every level. And some people have been saying, quite rightly, that they don't know what is Disney, what are they thinking? What is Warner Brothers thinking? What are their powers that be thinking? Because just about any character that they could have swapped in Harry Potter would not have had this effect. I mean, we would have maybe had some witching and moaning, haha, witching, but it wouldn't have been as bad. Someone pointed out, oh, this is awful, but it's true. That scene in the flashback with Snape where it says Snape's worst memory, what Harry does when he uses magic to have Snape upside down from the tree limb. I'm being very careful how I say this. They can't do that now. It changes everything. It changes I mean, Warner Brothers will get knocked off the air for that. And having him be a stalker, having him be obsessed, having him someone said grow up and join a gang, have Harry immediately be suspicious of him and none other of the teachers. Oh man, it's just any character but Snape. Not to mention that the guy is far too good looking. Let's see. Peter Reverend says, laugh out loud. We do Sea of Thieves now on my channel. We screwed up so bad we called ourselves the Remedial Fates. Steve Kenobi says, that guy simping and stalking a white woman. That's what they turned Snape into. Yes. Well, and I talked about on Friday, they looked at the description you have of Snape, and as Steve says, a stalker of a woman of the opposite sex who turns evil, joins a gang, and people put up in a tree. And they were like, wouldn't it be awesome if we race swap that one? That would just be so incredibly cool. No problem whatsoever. Look how diverse, inclusive, and progressive we are. I love it, though, that more than I am calling them ist over this. It is actually ist. People know the reason why Hollywood it is and should be very careful about how they portray especially black men, because there is a history, a real history, not made up, not a snowflake thing, of ist stereotypes about black men that led to death. It was bad. Okay. Potato Reverend said, showrunner never read Harry Potter and don't like the movies. HBO is vowed to an equitable and inclusive in casting. Yeah. Well, but it just shows that they don't know what they're doing. I've always said about a good example of that in Les Miserables when they did that diverse casting where Valjean was white and Javert was black. And I went, wow. Of all the characters to swap, they swapped Javert. They swapped Thénardier. Again, of all the characters, if you know the story of Les Miserables, the swindler, the thief, the beater, the awful, awful person. He's not the funny guy that he is in the musical version. And then, of course, he made Eponine pining after the white man. Yeah, a bunch of ists. They don't understand. It's like they never took Anthropology 101. Potato Reverend says, oh no, I'm sorry. Norporeal Lifeform says, James and Sirius will be ists now, bullying Snape, etc. Yeah, well, and with Sirius's last name being Sirius Black, I mean, it's just, and let's just say they decide to race swap him, Sirius, but that's his name, and they own slaves. Oh, it's terrible. Oh no, here we go. Steve coming in being just so subtle. I stalked Teresa for a while, got bored. She just stood in the living room holding a cup for 6 hours straight, like George Martin. Okay, that's an in joke between the 2 of us. That is not true. I do not just stand in a living room holding a cup for 6 hours straight, but it just seems like I do. Anyone going to look at the poppy when it opens? No, no, no. No, we don't like George Martin here at Miss Martin Music. And I love it when he does things like this whole Ilk of the Poppy because that means that we can roast him. We don't have to defend him here at Miss Martin Muses. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm like yeah, but that is a very apt description of George R. R. Martin. Teresa, is there a woke movie made about you? Who would play you? Well, I've said before that I'm pasty white. So it would Cynthia Erivo. And they'd be like, well, they both sing. Hello, Biggles. Thank you for being here. Seriously, Black. Oh no. You see, this is why they can't do it. My friend, says Potato Ribbon, asked if he will have an extra large. Oh gosh, I can't even. I can't say this crap out loud. I think we're all almost positive that they're going to do a swap with Hermione because they've already established that in that Cursed Child stage show. But Demonge and I made a good point in my stream when I was talking about this on Friday that stage is different. And I will grant him that. You will see far more swapping on stage than you will in movies and things. For one thing, movies, etc., really do reflect real life, but stage, especially things like Shakespeare or opera or musicals, yes, it is not uncommon to have swaps because it genuinely is about who can do it best. And you'll see that all the time. Not as big a deal, but I think that that is exactly what they're going to do. Bill Cosby will frequent. Oh no, I can't even say it. Don't forget, Dumbledore is gay now. LOL. Well, yes, he is. We haven't forgotten. I will forgive them though if they decide to go into that a little more detail because it wasn't until the last book, but it was definitely pretty clear that he and Grindelwald were in a relationship. It's just at least it's canon to the books. But they will definitely lean into it. Well, everyone's getting frustrated because they're all like they promised us that this would be a faithful adaptation, that that's what was going to make it different. Because while the movies were great, there were many things that they did, especially toward the end, that were not. And I think were detrimental to the adaptations. So if you're not going to be faithful, then why are you bothering? They've shown that they're not willing to be faithful. End of story. Biggle says, I want Harry to really now his parents are still white and his dad is actively Snape's. That way is even more hilarious. Oh dear. Don't give him ideas. Do not give them ideas. Cool. Cast Cynthia Erivo as Miss Martin and Rocker as her cat. Oh dear. Yeah, we could be in Cats together. Lily as a modern woman would totally do that, Biggles. Oh gosh, imagine if they everything's on the table now. They had to choose that one role. If they'd have chosen any other role, I've said it before. Heck, if they'd even made McGonagall black. We already know though, that they have not swapped Dumbledore. They have not swapped McGonagall. But anyone, people, yes, of course, would have been it's all woke. But it wouldn't have fundamentally changed things in such a disturbing way. I mean, come on, HBO. It's not freaking 1939 and we're making Gone with the Wind. Let's see, where are we? Netflix swapped Jet Black because his last name was Black. Did they? Hello, it's the lovely Cherie. Hello, lovely Cherie. Thank you for being here. Nerdporeal Lifeform says Dumbledore is only gay because J.K. had to virtue signal in an interview. I didn't see any evidence of her in the book. It could be brother love. Fair enough. It could have been. I'll grant you that. But some of the words used about them being like really into each other, inseparable, and how they argued and the way they wrote to each other before she virtue signaled, I got that feeling. But I will grant that to you. It could have gone both ways. Nerdporeal says, oh wait, not Nerdporeal, Potato Reverend says, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, gender non-specific magic. Well, we know that they have to include these characters. Well, I guess that's why we know that we're going to get more explicit Dumbledore. Because you have to have a main character that is gay. You have to have a main character that's of a certain race. Like, their rules are you can't have an insignificant character. Because a lot of people are saying, well, there's other characters. There's other wizards that are not white. It wouldn't work with their rules. Tom Riddle became evil because Dumbledore was gay, but probably. Biggles, I think you might be right. It's all going to be about ism and phobias. This was before virtue signaling was a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think she invented virtue signaling because she was definitely far more open about it in the interviews afterwards than she was in the books. And I remember people calling her out, including me. We didn't have social media back then, or it was very young, where it's just like, if that's what you intended to do, then you should have made it more explicit. We felt like the subtext part, even though I felt it was clear, was chicken. Potato Reverend says, McGonagall, oh no. There's some things I just can't read. Like I said, I love you all, but I'm not going to lose my channel over you. James hates him because she made him watch. Oh no. Subhuman 84 is out there. In my humble opinion, this series is probably for those who haven't read the books or watched the films. I guess, but that's like nobody. And they've been selling it as for book fans. They've been selling it that these are the book adaptations. So they've either got to come up with a different selling point, a different publicity point, or they need to STFU. And if this is their intention, then they need to get their messaging right. Oh gosh. Oh no, Steak. Okay, you people. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Subhuman. Thank you for giving me something I can read. You guys are funny. I think you're great. Voldemort will be considered a homophobe for attempting to kill Dumbledore. Yeah. Everything now. It changes everything. A horrible tweet I saw. They were saying, for those of you that know that Harry Potter becomes an Auror, which is basically a cop in the wizard world. The idea that Harry immediately didn't like Snape because of the color of his skin and ends up becoming a cop. I mean, it's just everything is wrong with this casting. Potato Reverend says, they will change all the Weasleys because they are ginger and we can't cast gingers. Yeah, ginger side. Adiga Outlaw said, "I've divested from getting too emotionally connected to popular IPs. We've been let down almost every time." That is true. What did we expect? I mean, did we really expect that we were going to get something faithful? Did we really, truly expect? I mean, we have been perpetually living in that cartoon from Peanuts where Lucy is holding the football and Charlie Brown is running up and they take the football and they snatch it away from you. On the other hand, it is true that right now Harry Potter, because of Rowling, they're not exactly on steady ground with the messaging. So this is quite a disaster. I think that they were wanting to make money. They were trying to figure out how can we do this while still virtue signaling to everybody. That was another theory that maybe they're doing this to virtue signal to shut up the people that maybe don't like Rowling for reasons. And they just made it worse. What it really boils down to is you really just can't care. You cannot care about anything but the story, and you've got to get blinders on because you will never make people happy. It does, though, show how, like I said, they are not as progressive as they think they are. They're actually more regressive, and I think that that's something to be very disturbed about in society right now. The fact that popular culture, the fact that these elites, a lot of the people that have power over people right now, really have a very bad attitude toward humanity and the value we have as humans and everything else, not just isms, but life in general. Hello, Orange Chat. The Harry Potter controversy. I gave a lengthy post on it. I won't watch the new one. Yeah, there's no reason to watch the new one. We already know. There was not a lot to recommend it, except for the promise that they were going to be faithful to the books, which would have made it interesting. It would have kept some of the more maybe nastier sides of things. It would have had some things that were left out. Definitely, I was looking forward to. The only thing I was really truly looking forward to was they were going to fix Jenny. Nothing against the actress. It was the writing. The Half-Blood Prince was atrocious. It was an atrocious movie. They messed up just about everything in that movie, except for Alan Rickman, who's perfect. But they even didn't give him the line where he's screaming at him, "Don't call me a coward." Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. Up, Snape. Oh no, okay, I can't say that. I'll just stick with the books. Yeah, you can't go wrong with the books. Well, it's much, much worse. It's all worse. Oh gosh, it's terrible. Even the new Daredevil is a step down. I heard about that. I haven't been following that. Once I hear male characters praise female characters saying how great they are, a red flag. Yeah, it didn't used to be that way. Like, remember back in the day when we could talk about Eowyn, where they were like genuinely like, yeah, Eowyn's like really cool, and we knew that there was no ulterior motive. Orange Hat says, I gave an interesting theory on why movies and shows are not 100% faithful to their published counterpart. Think there may be a secret agreement between Hollywood and the Department of Education. I don't know if it's that explicit or that planned. It's just that the powerful institutions in culture in general have been doing that. Though, as someone that has worked in public education, it's not as simple. The things that have made things go downhill in education. It is not as simple as woke or those kind of agendas. There's a lot that has led to the decline of education in general. and it's not popular necessarily to talk about it. When they decided that everyone had a right to be in school no matter what, and it is the law no matter what, you have a right to be there. That's when things that's what's really wrong. We gotta fix that before we fix anything else, and it'll mean a change in the law. To make movies 100% faithful, so if book reports are given, it would then be too easy to watch a movie instead of reading the book. Oh, nah. I might say nah. I'm not trying to dismiss you, but they're not that high-minded. They're not that we've got AI that's messing up education right now. And no adaptations are 100% faithful to the books, but maybe we just need to go back to the elephant in the room, the fact that the first movies, they were good. It wasn't until the end that they kind of messed up, and I blame was it Cl was it Steve whoever that director was that kinda took over the last 4 movies. I think 1 through 4 was perfectly fine. 1 through 3 were magnificent. There's nothing that this new series can do that will even come close to the magic of that first movie. And then the second and third did to continue that. Seamus Finnegan, probably from Dublin actor's name, will oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ugh. Well, oh, my comments. Oh, I know what the problem is. Somebody is on my thing here. All right. Things are jumping, but before I get to the other comments, we have here a super sticker from Salty Traveling Sea, a 99-cent super sticker, and it is a rose. Thank you very much, Salty, for the 99-cent super sticker and the rose. And for this, of course, you, sir, get a rose. Yeah. Yeah, the cat literally had its paw on the mouse thing, and that was messing things up. Yeah, long time no see. Everyone's saying hello. Biggles says, "Fun fact: I've only watched Harry Potter because of a girl, and I don't even know if I actually watched it. Hated the books. Hey, to each their own. What you like, and what you don't like." The Department of Education is being ruined to the ground by Linda McMahon. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, there's lots of reasons why things have been going wrong. But I think sometimes, my humble opinion, is this idea that they're all sitting there in back rooms planning this is not the real danger. Society tends to work not when you are heavy-handed. I guess a great example, and the reason why we still use that German, or rather that Austrian, as an example, is because he was so obvious. What you gotta be concerned about are the subtle changes. Society subtly changed what was acceptable and what was unacceptable. You don't need a top down to punish. And I would argue that's what went wrong during the last administration. They got too cocky, they showed their hand. They were slowly changing the culture. Salty tossing in the roses, gentlemen. Yes, he is. Biggles says, I failed the Fellowship of the Ring book report because of the movie. Yeah, there you go. That's a very good point. I'm gonna pause here. Thank you, Biggles. I love it. Sometimes people praise Peter Jackson a little too much. And I will say this as someone that loves the movies. Those movies were not perfect adaptations. In many places, they were imperfect. They did change things. I think people gave too much emphasis to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings because of the temptation to, if you're going to criticize something that's woke, you've got to put forward something that's not. So people were, myself included, lulled into the, well, I'm going to just emphasize the crap out of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. So he was the one everyone agreed that they were going to praise. And forgetting it, he wasn't perfect. If you want the story, you always has to go to the books. And it's just the way it has to be. Also, during Rings of Power, the thinking was the House of the Dragon was what everyone was going to praise instead of Rings of Power or Wheel of Time. Though a lot of people aren't paying attention to the Wheel of Time. When I say a lot of people, I mean like the other powers that be, which I find interesting. Think about it for a few seconds. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So when House of the Dragon went off the rails season 2, it left people a little bit confused. Oh crap, what do we do? Like, do we have to praise it now? Because now it's gone as bad as the Rings of Power. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I read the book, and it's still only a book I read without pictures. I like the first 2 Harry Potter movies by Columbus. Yes, I think those 2 were definitely the best. I love the third one, though, too. Felt very faithful, and I liked Richard Harris's Dumbledore. Picture books, I envisioned this version. Yes, because it had the magic. It was so beautiful. Didn't really like Michael Gambon's version, but he did good at the end. Yes. Well, I agree with you. He changed the characteristics of it. He changed the way Dumbledore kind of acted. From what I understand, that was a deliberate choice because he didn't want to imitate Richard Harris. But Richard Harris definitely was the perfect Dumbledore. And his untimely passing was very unfortunate. Orange Hat says 3 had a lot of differences I didn't like. Changing the ground, Sirius not at the Quidditch match, watching Harry in his dog form, and instead making the Grim in the clouds was odd. Fair points. Fair points. Salty Traveling Sea says, I refuse to even read articles on the abomination of the Harry Potter remake. Warner can drown in its fueled bankruptcy. Yeah. Well, I think there's a bit of glee, too, with this. It's like, okay, you all came to the logical conclusion to your disaster. Harry Potter ruined wizards. Oh, no. Oh, they're talking about the color of the third movie. Yes, the color palette was weird and interesting. Yeah. It is funny. They thought that we would maybe not notice that they shifted around all the sets, but they did it in later movies as well with just about everything. Talking about Gambon's Dumbledore. Let's see. Recovering from Emerald City Comic Con. I saw that, Salty Traveling. Fun, but damn, I hate crowds. Oh, gotcha. Well, I think conventions like that are perfectly what you would expect, perhaps, at those. But I saw that you met Jim Zub, the Conan comics. I've been paying attention. Everyone says we don't want woke comics, and then you've got an amazing series of the iconic character Conan the Barbarian from Robert E. freaking Howard that's faithful, not woke, great rockin' comic stories. And there's crickets. I wonder why. But yes, you got to meet Jim Zub, and I saw that you signed like a huge stack. Yeah, they're doing everything right. Titans, Conan series. If you want to read good comics, read those. Everyone check out our Shido Rising discussion from yesterday. Oh, that's another thing. Go to Good Fantasy. Wheel of Time. I'm watching Wheel of Time for the first time. what they're watching. I am not watching Wheel of Time. They can all not be watched. I do not intend to watch the series. I don't even want to see pictures. I don't want to hear anything about it because I'm trying to keep the image in my head of the true characters as written by Robert Jordan. I do not want that filth in my head ruining my pure images. So yes, I finished the 4th book, The Shadow Rising. We did a part 1 discussion. Book was way too big for us to do the entire thing unless we were going to go on for at least another hour or two, and we had to be somewhere, sleep, work, life, taking precedence over these things. So yes, please do. And if you haven't, read the book. Steve Kenobi says, Christopher Lee saved the Jackson movies. Definitely. He's great. Just a second, I need to cough. Okay, I'm done coughing. He bringing the sharp edge battle axe to the chat. Yeah. In many ways, he did. Wheel of Prime, gird your loins. Yeah, people will praise, Steve Kenobi says, whatever someone they simp for says is good, no thinking involved, which is too bad. It's too bad. Because I think people are losing out on truly good entertainment. Truly good entertainment. I only like things I am told to liked by Steak. And you know what? That is a very good thing to do. It's good for you. So I like nothing. Oh, that's bullshit, Vic. Steak Kenobi, true for many. For many. Yeah, not all. Yep, like Picard season 3. I think X is down. Good. I hate it. Elon Musk is on my crap list, and I will die on that hill. I will defend that. Imagine a big bad who can't use a pillow. Oh, wait, I can't even say it because I don't want. I'm going to. I don't know where you all are going. You all are great. Go to Good Fantasy. Hint, hint. Yeah. Well, you can't get better than Wheel of Time, Wheel of Prime. But yes, Adega Outlaw is doing original fiction that is available on Amazon. Salty Traveling Sea said, Zub was a great guy. Yay! I know. Humble Based had a long conversation about Conan and his worries with his reboot. Got 28 comics by him. Strongly recommend. Oh, yes. Well, and they're doing Solomon Kane. If you love comics, sword and sorcery, if you love Conan, these are people that really, really drip respect and love for the source material. I like how at the end of each comic they have an essay describing the lore behind what you're reading. Good stuff. Subhuman says, I'm reading Dick Tracy and Flash Gordon comics from Mad Cave or Mad Cove? Is it Mad Cave? It is Mad Cave. Yeah. Full disclosure, about 10 minutes into the stream, one of my contacts popped out. So I'm only half seeing right now. So I'm doing the best I can. Well, okay. Well, I will maybe look into those. Mad Cave and Ghost Machine are rocking it, so they say. Yes. We need to get back to objective thoughts. Uh-oh, we got salt, yeah. Well, I've been guilty of it too. We're all human. My main concern is don't allow it to have you miss good entertainment. I think being fans or even simps of certain YouTubers is fine. If that's what you want to be a fan of, that's what you're a fan of. I mean, I am in some cases. But again, don't let it make you not see some good stuff out there. Good example is the Raymond Feist books. And it's not that anyone's knocking them, but no one's talking. When I say no one, I mean Some of the more powers that be are not talking about them. Find good fantasy. There is actually good fantasy being written right now. That's something else. It These Feist books are being written right now. What's his name? The guy who wrote The Sword of Shannara. He's so good. His name, Terry Brooks. He's writing books right now. Abercrombie is writing books right now. DJ Ronnie G, thank you for being here. Laugh Out Loud Bagels, if only you knew the name John. Even I barely knew that till last year. Oh, I lost my ist. Oh, a little on my stream last night. We all have our salty moments. We just gotta rewrite the ship and stay balanced. Yeah. Well, don't ever, in my humble opinion, let anyone, and I mean anyone, make you lose your peace. It's not worth it. It really, really isn't. Especially someone online. That's why I don't like X right now. I really don't. And I think I've even told you why I'm against even people on our side, powers that be on our side, if you will, thinking it's funny to troll. Trolling is never funny. I've talked about this before on a specific stream, but you will be seeing this in the sense of the morality, the immorality, the grave immorality of trolling. And when you're talking about on the world stage, you just can't. We might be tempted to laugh, but it's dangerous because what it's going to do is it's going to lose voters, and we might lose everything just because a few people wanted to be funny on X. Joe Abercrombie strongly recommends. Shout out to Steve for introducing me to his books. Oh, yes. Oh, hello. Low Spec Linux Gaming. Why, hello there. Thank you for being here. Orange Hat says it wasn't so much on someone online. It was a site that decided to paywall their articles where they were free for hours before. No warning. It made me stumble in my stream. Oh, yeah. Hey, I've lost my temper for less. My cat made me drop the F-bomb. I got the first law book, says Salty Traveling. Those were widely recommended. Black Pilled Timon is here. Miss Martin says nothing leftover birthday pie for breakfast. Oh, nothing like leftover birthday pie. Well, that's good. Was it your birthday? Well, happy birthday. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Everyone's saying, what is in birthday pie? All right, let's hear about the pie. As for X, says Orange Hat, I agree to a point. There are too many sycophants that are allowing their lesser morals to show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not talking about YouTubers here. I'm talking about our president. I'm talking about Elon Musk. He can handle it. We've got to be able, we cannot troll. Oh boy, getting into politics here. It's not funny when Americans are losing their jobs. It's not funny to threaten that. Ever. Especially when it's going far beyond the scope than what was promised during the election season. It's not funny, it's not okay, and it's dangerous. Don't like it, and I'm mad. No Pro Lifeform says you should do a stream on cussing and Catholicism. I probably should. Well, it would be a bit of a rebuke to me, to be fair. I, though, have an anthropological theory behind why it's okay. Because, holy crap, are we hardcore? Are we hardcore on some sins that even other people have given up on and just indulged in? The people, started 100 years ago with Casti Kanubi talked about the direction that those things were going in. So, man, if we're gonna be so hardcore on the hardcore things, maybe we just have the attitude that slipping out an F-bomb now and then is not so bad. It's like, "Okay, we'll give you the F-bomb now and then." Oh boy, it's jumping, chat's jumping. Happy birthday, fellow Pisces. Mine was March 4th. Dagnabbit, did it jump? Oh no, it did jump and I have to move a cat. The cat's screwing me up. Bootlickers will always be solidly planted on their knees. Yes. But again, that includes bootlicking politicians, bootlicking Elon. Where did it go? Maybe I missed where they were talking about the specific birthday. I think if I'm correct. If I missed it, I apologize. Psychotic Mongoose says, "Hello, Miss Martin in chat." Why, hello there. We had the thing about bootlickers. Everyone saying hello to each other. Elon is a chaos agent. Trump has to be on his guard. Damn right. Damn right. I wonder if he's our friend. I really, like I said, I've got a real issue with him right now. And I'll just say it. Trump has to STFU about joking about other countries' sovereignty. It's not funny. It pisses me off. All right. I'm going to get my evil Miss Martin thing off there. In our D&D game, says D. Kenobi, the atheist is the one that cusses the least. Oddly enough, yes. Yes. Yeah, the two Catholics. Oh, we try. But I told you my theory. Maybe I'll talk about it in Catholic splaining. I mean, the really hard stuff we're good at keeping. And you see, others do the opposite. They get rid of the cussing, but give in on the harder things. So who's right? I don't know. I leave it before God. I leave it before God. Salty Traveling says, "I worked for the federal government and lived in D.C. The bloat job cuts are long, long overdue, and I support 100%. I support the bloat. I support the bloat. But they're not doing just the bloat. And people are losing jobs who did not expect to. And it's not just bloat jobs. Like I said, there's and they're dumping too fast too many jobs on an already creeping higher and higher unemployment market. Like I said, DC jobs are one thing, but we're talking about people in areas no one expected. And they're starting to change the story to, well, we got to cut the budget. It's like, well, that's different than bloat. That's different than things that don't exist. I think everyone supports bloat. We don't support other things that are happening. And certainly, if you lay off as many people, we're talking about, we're getting up to 100,000, and not all of them were offered a buyout. That's the other myth. It's not a buyout. Not everyone got offered a buyout. Many people were just downright let go. And then this whole idea, like these little hoops that Elon is telling people to jump through, and then he keeps changing his mind. Like, you're going to be fired. You're going to be resigned if you don't answer this email. Then he's like, oh, well, maybe you're not. That's the kind of stuff I'm also talking about. I can tell you, people that are being laid off, there is no job for them to have. Everyone's like, well, go out and get a real job. Well, okay, what job? You've now got double the people competing for the same jobs. Wait, my voice sounded a little harsher than it should have. I'm not mad at you, Salty. I'm mad at the way it's being done and the fact that Elon can't shut the fuck up. He's on my crap list. Because it's many things, but it's not funny. German pie, says Blackpilled. Let's talk about something happier. My favorite sweet food, very simple. Layers of sweet cream and milk cookies with chocolate ganache topping. Wow. Psychotic Mongoose. Hello. Nordporial says, at the expense of the taxpayer, I'm with Salty here. They should try to do engineering for a private company. We are under a microscope in comparison if we don't improve. Gone. That is true. But you see, and this is only where I'm saying part of the problem is there aren't jobs. Everyone now is trying to do it for a private company, and there's less jobs with more people wanting them. So I'm also saying, like, maybe it was bloat. Maybe they did need to be let go. Maybe. But they've got nowhere to go. That's a concern. So this glee about it is dangerous. Because these same people then are gonna be F you all. I mean, there's a reason why people want, and it's not just people in blue areas, it is people in red areas. Just saying, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Don't fumble the ball. We just did a touchdown. Don't throw the ball back out and give the touchdown to the other team. Oh, for crying out loud. Everyone's saying awesome. I think they're liking the cake. Dagnabbit. Sorry, I just yelled at my cat. Is it a sin to yell at your cat? Oh gosh, he fucked up my mic. Oh gosh, I said it again. You see, is it a sin if you're saying in response to your cat? I think I might have opened up a can of worms here. But I'm going to stand by. I think we can all agree being a dick about it is not the way to go. Orange Hat. I agree. Canada and Greenland talk is not good. America was never meant to be expanding empire. We wanted freedom, not to be the communist fed. Thank you, Orange Hat. Those, like, and a lot of these countries are like, dude, we never had a problem with you. What the hell? Oh, maybe I need to do a separate stream. I opened up a can of worms. The sovereignty jokes are counterpunch to all the virtue signaling the world leaders who say one thing and do another. I might agree with you. But you're the president of the friggin' United States. It's not it's not jokes. I mean, I know why he's doing it, but it's still wrong. And it's distracting. We voted him in to do certain job. We did invite him to be the troll in chief. And I'm saying this as someone that supports him. Like, my mom was getting upset with me. She's like, well, then fine. Just vote for the other side. I'm like, I never said I'm not voting for the other side. Like, just because you criticize your side, that doesn't mean that's the case. I'm saying if I see you going wrong, it's wrong. Wrong is still wrong. I didn't vote for a troll. I voted for a man to get something done. C. Kenobi says, a lot of people losing their jobs in the U.S. right now are a lot of the people who cheered when people in the oil industry lost their jobs over there, as well as people who got fired during COVID. I would agree. Yeah. But what was the response to a lot of these people that lost their jobs and the people cheering when they lost the jobs? A lot of that translated into swing votes that gave the election to Trump. So why the hell are we making the same mistake? And it's, again, I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. It's not just lefties. And even if they are lefties, they're still Americans. We were supposed to save American jobs. And if they had jobs waiting for the people, you see, you can't be the same as the bad guys. You've got to be better. You got to be different. And I'm not saying be better, being nicer, because we know that being nicer doesn't necessarily get you everywhere. But you just can't You just can't do this. And then when you look at how much tech jobs have been laid off, 50,000 and employment went up, 50,000 in the tech industry. Oh, my cat just keeps messing with my microphone. Yeah, and I'm not getting mad at anybody. I'm mad at the situation. I want to let everyone know this. Maybe this is the woman in me comes like I don't want to be unpleasant, but I want to be clear. I want to be clear. Nothing pisses off people more than being unemployed and not being able to pay their rent. And even if you didn't like these lefties, even if you didn't like these people cheering, even if it was bloat jobs, you got people that got to make rent who are suddenly finding out they can't make rent. And again, the myth is that they were all offered a buyout. They were not. Many were offered a buyout. Certain jobs were not. And people got surprised. We got to be careful, is all I'm saying. Tom Bombadil, where'd he come from? He sucked. We will have to agree to disagree on the Fed cuts. The system was co-opted and controlled by the agendas that want to destroy us, and actively had gone on since Obama and high gear and divided and I don't think we disagree. I said we need to get rid of the bloat, but they're not getting rid of just the bloat. That's my thing. And so we need to acknowledge that. That's what I'm saying. We all want to get rid of the bloat and some of the Fed cuts and some of those things under Biden. Yes, in COVID, absolutely. But we're talking about people that have held their jobs. Like, for example, of surprise is things like the forestry stuff, things like some of the national parks. People that have held their jobs for 30 years. We're not talking about bloat. We're not talking about Biden. We're talking about stuff going back to the 80s where they just are deciding we can be more efficient. That they are, and that I think that maybe people are not distinguishing between the people losing their jobs over bloat and over efficiency. And when it happens with efficiency, you're getting into the territory of layoffs. And I guess I'm just saying it's not something to be gleeful about. And even if it was due to bloat, if you're minding your own business and you've got a job, even if it's someone that I don't agree with ideologically, and you suddenly find yourself out of a job, it's not good for the economy. And there are signals that consumer confidence is going down. Why does consumer confidence go down? If you don't know when your ass is going to be fired, and the number of jobs. And I'm not even necessarily saying they might even be wrong for it. I'm saying they need to be careful about how they're doing it and the glee with which they're doing it and the trolling with which they're doing it. Because people might forgive you for laying you off, but they will never forgive you for laughing at you over it. Just be careful, kids. We were paying and destroying our country. I agree. Like I said, I'm not talking about bloat. I like SpaceX more than Twitter X. I love a good troll, but I favor diplomacy and goodwill. That's right. And I'm not a snowflake, but you don't troll with international relations. Nora Poyle says the left has proven me the worst of the two, despite both having their sycophants. One supports terrorism with the leaders not denouncing it. The other, Trump was a shot at. Oh, and nothing. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's terrible. And like I said, we're all on the same side. I'm just saying, and I'll say it again, be careful. When I say be careful, I'm talking about America in general. Oh, the red folks are letting the winning go to their head. Yes, I agree. And don't do it. Cussing and Catholicism future stream, everyone. They're right. I don't mean to sound harsh at a gal says, but There are less jobs that support the perceived standing of living their perceived standing of living. There are lots of jobs that can support them, just not their assumed worth. Yes, but wow, I'm gonna do a separate stream on this. I'm not saying you're wrong, but where a lot of these people are living is in cities. Oh gosh, I gotta stay true to my clock here. Standard of living, raising families, college debt, all of these things, and to suddenly be let off. There was also a little bit of quiet firing because part of the reason, not all the reason, why the remote jobs were so popular was because you could actually work without some of those expenses, without living in those big cities. I don't know. Like I said, I'm I'm just doing a warning bell. I was laid off last year, said Salty Traveler, and I'm in high demand private sector. Took 6 months to find another job. I have zero sympathy for the destructive in American bureaucrats and the globalist agendas. I agree. I have zero sympathy. But I'm just saying it's not just those that are getting laid off, and we need to be careful, in my humble opinion. And I'm talking about the powers that be. We don't want people to regret how they voted. And we need to help people. We need to help people find new jobs. And again, it's red people, when I say red people, that are losing their jobs. And there's a lot of them. And I'm not even necessarily talking about what's going on with the federal cuts, though that's a huge part of it. It's only one part of it. The private sector, those numbers are not comfortable. And then when a whole bunch of them that took the buyouts enter the job market in the fall. Like I said, I'm not sympathetic. And I know that a lot of people weren't sympathetic to you. And but if it was wrong for them not to be sympathetic to you, I'm saying our powers that be need to be like inviting. See, that's what Trump did. And I thought Vance did a very good job inviting Americans to join our side. But if you just sit and laugh at people who are trying to wonder if they're going to make their rent, you're not going to win one person. Is our goal to win or is our goal to be mean? Or to troll? And again, I think people don't quite get that it's not just the bureaucrats. I know this for a fact. Red voting, whatever, they're suddenly finding themselves unexpectedly part of the bloat, if you know what I mean. And they even said only low performing people would be let go. And that turned out not to be true. So a lot of people thought, well, I'm high performing, so I'm going to be okay. And again, they weren't necessarily offered the buyouts. That's all I'm saying. I mean, if you want to say screw the people that sat and danced on our graves, I'm absolutely with you. I guess I'm just throwing out. Let's not become what we hate. Hello, Tomby. Nordporial says it's 1984. Well, darn right it is. We are at War T. Taking the high road isn't going to stop or reverse what was intentionally done to dim and fracture us. We need to remove the thread. Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe I think we're talking past each other. I'm not necessarily saying that we don't remove it. We don't act. What I'm saying is that our powers that be don't need to be dicks about it. And that Elon's making it worse by I have some friends that it turns out their jobs are not in danger, but Elon's little troll about you're going to be fired if you don't do this terrified them. unnecessarily. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying we don't necessarily have to do something, but how the powers that be are behaving about it, they've got to be careful. Because I can tell you what, I know that it was for a fact, it was the way the left was acting that made people vote red. We don't have to be cruel and we don't have to do friendly fire. I'm not saying we don't have to do it necessarily. We got to be careful how we do it. Um, Blackpilled says, I was let go several years ago and back to school to learn to code because of the leftist government effed over tech development in favor of China. That's right. Adega Atlas says there is and will be a hard adjustment period for switching from a crony crapless system into a true free market without the monopolies, which includes the government monopoly business. Don't disagree. Orange Hat says we need to do the cutting right, not quickly. See, and that's another part of it. We've been experiencing some friendly fire. Trump's biggest problem is his ego. He placed an impossible timer on his presidency, saying he would get all the West Coast splitting out in 6 months was not a good idea. He needs to do this right, like the Epstein files. Release them right, not quickly, like many magnificents are demanding. Well, that's the other thing that messed things up. They turned it into a joke where they trolled us. You see, that's what I'm saying is you can't be a troll. Like, oh, look, here's the files. Oh, just kidding. It wasn't. Yeah. So fire them, but don't rub it in. Yeah, that's that's a good start. That's a good start. Or maybe only rub in the people that deserve it. But again, we just also I agree with where Orange Hat says is this basic economics. If you suddenly have just the flood of unemployment, it's not good. And it's not wrong for people like even our current administration to be there to support people that are going through that. Salty says, Black pill, that's rough, and I'm sorry, seen it over and over. Cheap on paper, but bad code cracks. Yeah. And like I said, tech is just a bloodbath right now. Just a bloodbath. It's the whole rainbow, says Mars Monkey Max. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to get down to some of these comments. Steek says, low performing people will always have a job, though. Well, in this case, they're not, but it's not just low performing people. And I think that that's where there's a little bit of a mix on the messaging. Salty says, the federal government 30% GDP, cutting that, getting a healthy non-globalist hijacked economy is going to be painful in the short, medium term, but 100% needed. Yeah. People are gleefully Steve Kenobi, people who gleefully tried to wreck you completely doesn't deserve any high road. Respect is earned, so is disrespect. I get it. I guess I'm just saying our site just needs to realize not everyone that's losing their jobs right now were the people that were disrespecting you. I think that maybe we get this idea that only lefties just all lost their jobs. Just be careful. I mean, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying be careful. Mr. Musings because it clashes with another stream. I'm sorry to hear that. Low lives will not appreciate the high road you take and will continue acting against you. I'm not saying necessarily take the high road. Maybe y'all are misunderstanding me. I'm not necessarily saying you have to take the high road, but don't go out of your way to antagonize when you don't need to. Don't go out of your way to drive people to despair, especially your own people. Okay. Oh gosh, I hate this, but I have to go. Okay. Oh shit. I want to because I have Pilates. And I have to go. Let me see if there's any other comments. They're talking about some economics saying, considering the true evil and its networking powers around the world has to be dismantled quickly or can it be done? This is war between good and evil, no quarter, no success. And when it comes to the Dems, they want to return to the time where there were only rich and the poor. They don't want the middle class. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, we don't want to destroy the middle class. Yeah. I think we're all agreeing with each other. I really do. And like I said, I didn't mean to open this can of worms today. Maybe for another stream where I want to go through some numbers about these unemployment numbers. I just want to throw this out there because I know this for a fact. It's not just lefties and globalist bloaters that are having their jobs cut. And in some cases, they're even having to hire them back because they realized, oh shit, we weren't supposed to do that. I think it was AI that effed it up. But meanwhile, you've got people in the state of despair. And that we need to be careful about friendly fire. How's that? Maybe that's the conclusion. Be careful about friendly fire. And be careful about letting ego. I'm talking about the leaders get so big that it turns out that you're sabotaging our side unnecessarily. Here's the image. I'm going to take a little bit out of context one of George Alexopoulos's comics. We have the ball. All we need to do is run across the touchdown and put the ball down and jump up and down and go, we got a touchdown. That's all we have to do. What we shouldn't do is run. We've almost got the touchdown. Stop at the 20-yard line and tackle ourselves. That's what I'm saying. And with that in mind, damn it, I do have to go. I love this. We're going to talk about this some more. But I paid for this class, so I have to go. So I want to thank everyone. Thank you, Salty Traveling Sea, for the super sticker. Thank you, everyone, for a lively discussion and food for thought. All of that jazz. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to, I guess, not watch Harry Potter because it's going to suck.